Okay, this is a bit of a review of how do we interpret graphs and tables. So remember that data or data can be numerical, it can be numbers, or categorical. We could be looking at colors or what is this categorical? Gender. We can look at, that's categorical. Numerical data can be either discrete, which has got to be a particular number, or continuous. So like age can be a range, or height can be a range between a whole lot of numbers. Categorical data is non-numerical data that can be grouped into categories. So data can be represented on a graph or a table. Column graphs have an X and Y axis. Line graphs also use the X and Y axis. Charts like pie charts and divided bar graphs use a sector or section of a space to show you that data. So let's look at some of them. This column represents annual income, and income is here on the vertical or y-axis of 5 different people. Question number 1, what is Aruban's annual income? Well, if we look at Aruban's bar chart, there's his name labeling down that we probably should call this names, shouldn't we? And he is, or she, they, we can see on our chart that Aruban's annual income is $60,000. What is the difference? Difference means subtract between Jamie's and Ashtev's. So here we go. We've got to make a little bit of interpretation here because Jamie's goes up to someplace in between 80 and 100,000. And that looks to me like it's pretty much halfway. So I'm going to say that, I'll leave the dollar sign over for a second. Jamie's 90,000 and Ashtev is sitting here at 40,000. So our answer is going to be obviously 50,000. So I would write out for B, the difference, I'll write out the whole word so you can read it, is $50,000. It sounds like a lot. Who earns the most? Well, that is purely visual. We look here and we see that Stefan is the highest of the columns. And so we can see that Stefan earns $100,000. So the answer to C, we write out Stefan earns the most. And you could clarify with $100,000, and it's an income per year. It's a rate. Okay, looking at a pie chart. A pie chart uses visual space to represent in a circle. And you would have looked at this in year 7, and you would have looked at the angles to see. So you can see this is a straight angle. You can see that this is a right angle. So that helps you to see just how much of the total each of these categories is, and the colors help too. So what is A? The largest expense each year? You can see that petrol takes up a full half of this. So petrol is the largest expense with 1/2, or I'm going to say 50%, because that to me looks bang on half of the total. B, what percentage of the car's expenses is devoted to maintenance? And that's where that little right angle came in, because this sector here looks to me like 1/4. And 1/4, or we know that that's 25%. You could multiply 1/4 by 100 and get that, is devoted to maintenance. Look at my handwriting. Isn't it fantastic? I'm going to blame the stylus. I'm just going to scribble from now on. That says maintenance. And then finally, I'm going to make myself a little room. If the car owner spends $3,000 per year on petrol, what is the total amount? Well, if we're spending $3,000 on petrol, and we've determined that 50% of that is petrol, 50% of the expenses equals $3,000, because we know that half the thing, or 50% of the circle, is devoted to petrol, then how much is 100%? Well, how do we get to 100%? We multiply by 2, and of course we do that on both sides of our equation, and then we get $6,000, and the answer to C is $6,000. We have to write it all out, is spent by the car owner, however you want to say this, each year. Yay!